Well, hello everybody. I decided to go live on YouTube today because I was thinking that maybe you, my audience, were wondering why am I doing what I do and how did it come to pass? Well, about let's see, in 2004, which is nearly 16 years ago, which is crazy. Um, Don and I attended a couple of experiential trainings through a company called Peak Potentials. And Peak Potentials at that time had two programs that we followed and went to. One was called the Enlightened Warrior Training Camp, and the other one was let's see, the Wizard Camp. And it was a crazy time. So we went to the first one, and our beings totally shifted from the experiences we had during that retreat. And we decided that we would definitely go back to and do the wizard retreat as well. And the first one was more about the masculine side, about how to be strong and fearless in your life, which really helped me overcome a lot of my fears. And there were things I had often been fearful about, and that really helped me to overcome those. One was walking along a high floor on a building with an open railing. I would stay close to the building, but now I'm able to stand right at the edge and look over the edge, no problem. The other thing I had always wanted to do was fly a helicopter. So I went and I did an introductory flight and I flew a helicopter. Done other amazing things, swimming with the dolphins in the deep ocean off of Hawaii. Although I love to swim and snorkel, I didn't like the watery depths. And so I overcome a lot of my fears. You know, fears still come up. Your brain sends you fear messages because your brain is to help you keep safe. So anyway, that was the first thing, and amongst other things, but that was one of the first things that changed the course of my life. And then the following year, we went to the Wizard Camp. And the Wizard Camp was definitely the more feminine side of things, how to manifest things in your life, how to see in nature, how to connect to nature, how that we're all connected on a cellular level. So if you take the cells, our individual cells in our body and the individual cells in a tree, for example, they are exactly the same, except that the cells are made up differently. So then the outside look that we see is very different, even though we're made up of the same thing. So during that retreat, we went on long walks in the woods in silence. We studied all sorts of things, and we heard all sorts of beautiful things. We connected, all of us, at a very deep level. In fact, I'm friends with several of the people that we went through these camps and retreats with. Um, during during the end of one of those retreats, there was an Indian chief who came to help in the closing ceremonies. And as he got up and walked out of our circle, I saw light beings, all of his ancestors that were following him, got up from the kneeling position and followed him out of the circle. And that was my first, like, I wonder what that was. So I didn't really think much of it afterwards, and then, we joined another group, and we went to Utah, and we hiked up from 10,000 feet to 12,000 feet, and we camped out for 3 or 4 nights. I can't remember exactly how many nights. And during that, retreat, which was really magical. There was only maybe 10 or so of us, and we would sit in circle and talk and have fires, and we had beautiful food. And there was a young lady who was helping us in the yoga and spiritual side of things. And we did some yoga in the morning, and she did one about the light that we all carry. A lot of us don't even realize that we have this light in us that is so bright. Um, so I was doing the yoga, and she was talking about how she wanted us to visualize our light turning around in our belly, and how it comes up and through our body and up and out through our crown. And to this day, it still brings tears to my eyes. I saw my light so bright that day that it literally brought me to tears. Um, we went back on that same retreat the following year, and that young lady did exactly the same thing. So all of a sudden, I was seeing spirits, and I was seeing my own light. I did a few other things, and people were saying different things to me that people weren't saying to me before. Before we did these retreats, I was a little stressed. I was working in corporate, and I was just trying to make everybody happy all of the time. And all I was doing was making myself unhappy. And then these things started to happen, and I started to think there was something more to what my job was, what my sole purpose was, why was I brought to this earth, and w- what does it mean to be me, and what can I do for the world to make it a better place? So the last day of Wizard Camp, we had been out in the forest, and it had been raining, so I was muddy, and we were going back to the session in the afternoon for the last session. So I was in the shower, having a shower, getting rid of all the mud, and I had this download from the universe. And the download from the universe was, you're going to lead people in nature and teach them how nature nurtures creativity and well-being. And I went back to the last session of this retreat or camp, and I wrote down all of these things that were downloaded to me during my shower. And still to this day, I sometimes go back to that notebook to make sure I'm still on the right path. Since that time, I have done and met so many other people, so many enlightened people, so many people who have helped me on my path, and helped me to start understanding who I am. So I want you to know that I'm here doing what I do, children's camps in nature, my art retreats, my art workshops, my women's retreats, and everything else that Magical Earth Retreats involves or is programs. I'm here doing it because I want to help you learn and understand who you are and find the peace, joy, and tranquility that one can only find when you're creating something. And so that is who I am. That is why I'm here. That is why I do what I do. I hope this helps. And I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you have any comments, please let me know in the comments below. And I wish you much love in your day to day life, and be connected. Love everybody unconditionally, regardless of who they are. Forgive often, and find peace in your life. Have a lovely day.